All right. You can still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Cool. All right. Cool. Sorry, I'm like trying to host, but also like talk to these guys about this like tech era that's going around at the
Man,
same
how
time.
do we do this? How do we do all these jobs at once? It's insane.
You know what's really funny is I just filmed this battle in Oakland. I did a stage event alone and ran the audio. It was the Fab event, and yeah, it's wild to me when people have like feedback about like battle events. Or like, oh, the mics suck or something, and it's like you do realize there's one person doing 10 people's jobs. You know,
They're like, this isn't the standard of the NFL.
It's kind of like
watch.
It's kind of like
They have a
honestly
production
what
team.
you do. Like, you know, you do a lot of people's jobs for Adopt My Block. Like, you're not. I'm sure when people go to your website, people are like, "Damn, this must be like this big organization that's like has like 10 employees," you know, and it's like really
You're totally
you
right,
and your
dude.
wife.
You're totally right. We just added a person to the team, and she was telling her friends that she had a meeting with us, and they were like, "Oh wow, that must be like a really big thing." Like, no, it's sit down with me and my wife, and we're like, "Hey, can you help us, please?"
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. It's really incredible what you do. I think there was one time you were like you had what like 10. You housed like 10 dogs at your crib. What's
Yeah,
like
I
the
think
most you've had?
I've ever had at home is 12 because they were puppies, and that's easier to handle. Typically, we're rocking between 6 and 7, and 4 aren't going anywhere. So it's usually like we have 3 dogs here that are adoptable, and then I'll have another 3 dogs in foster, either with our executive director Ruth or in like another foster family. And we lose foster families all the time because they end up adopting the dogs and then they can't foster anymore. So we call that a foster fail, and it's a good thing. But the more fosters we have, the more dogs we can pull from the shelter.
Word. So besides Adopt My Block, I wanted to talk to you about something that you've been doing recently that I think is really commendable, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain about it because I have people in my life that are trying to do the same thing.
Savage shades?
Yeah, it's just being an overall badass, pretty much. But you have been a lifelong weed smoker, and you just quit recently.
Yes, I did. I think to be fair to everybody, it's important to emphasize that I quit smoking. Smoking being the key word there. And I have dabbled with the edibles in an effort to not have dreams, because dreams are terrifying if you're not used to them. I guess I didn't really like know this until I attempted to quit, but smoking marijuana in like quantities pretty much inhibits your ability to have dreams. You don't have regular dreams. You just don't have them. And if you do have them, you don't remember them. So, but like your brain is like backlogging that shit. So if you quit, then all of a sudden it's like, all right, it's time to dream. And then they just throw fucking everything at you. And alarming, to say the least. But, you know, to be fair, I don't think I've done the gummies in like a few weeks at this point, or like a couple weeks. So the thing is, and I got nothing against the marijuana. Fucking love the way it looks, love the way it smells. I'd love to grow it again if I could, but I don't have space here that a dog won't destroy it. So maybe someday in the future I can be an old man on a farm that could smoke. But for now, I attached smoking marijuana to tobacco, and even though I quit smoking cigarettes in 2009, I'm smoking 2 packs of Fronto leaves a week, which is just like big raw tobacco leaves. I'm gonna get super cancer, you know, not just regular cancer, but super duper cancer. And in general, like if marijuana does have medical benefits, it's certainly not from burning it and then inhaling the carcinogens. So at 40 years old, I think it's a good time to quit. Hopefully I didn't do too much damage to my lungs, but then also, you know, it's not responsible to be spending a bunch of time and money on recreational drugs when you run a dog rescue.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So the main reason why you quit was because of the tobacco that you were inhaling, and you didn't want to. You viewed it as unhealthy.
Main reason, but I would say that major like side reason would be the amount of money that I was spending on marijuana. You know what I mean? Being that I wasn't growing it anymore, and I haven't been like in the industry in like a half a decade, where I used to get this shit for free.
Yeah.
Not no mo, and I'm spending, or was spending $40 a day, at minimum, smoking between a quarter and a half between every day or two. It's a lot of money, and like, like my newfound internet music success kind of afforded me that ability. So I was overdoing it, I think, over the last year, and then also as like a coping mechanism for the amount of stress that I was dealing with as a guy who runs a dog rescue. And then you realize like it's actually probably making shit worse for me. Probably stressing out more because my emotions are all out of whack because I'm just smoking used to say getting dog shit high every single day. Not good.
So when you first stopped, like what was your reaction to it? Because I could imagine like doing it the amount you're doing it for so long, it had to have been challenging, sort of, right? To stop?
Yeah, I mean, no, 100%. Still challenging. Still kind of trying to figure out what to do with my hands. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always like, I feel like what's helped me out a lot is that I have a very, 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 very busy lifestyle. So like, today I woke up at 5 a.m. I feed the dogs. I take 2 different trips to the dog park. Then I go do this photo shoot. Now I'm doing this with you. After this, I got a meeting at the tiny houses. And then tonight at 3, I got a meeting at the shelter. So like I get more shit done in a day than most people do in a week sometimes. And that kind of keeps me from smoking. And I used to, like, in between all of this shit, be smoking, which is like irresponsible on multiple levels, as far as like, you don't want to be showing up to meetings smelling like weed, and you kind of like lose sight of that when you smoke to the degree I was smoking. And again, like the money thing, it's like I pay myself pennies to do this job, less than a livable wage in California. And like I said, like fortunately I get money from music shit, so that's cool, and that gives me an opportunity to like do this in the way that I do. But it's not cool to be spending hundreds of dollars a week on marijuana at my age. And I'm in the process of saving to purchase some property in San Benito County. I need every dollar, man. I can't afford to be blowing it on weed. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I remember when you first quit, you were like damn, I'm like kind of going ham on like social media and stuff. Like did you feel like the anxiety or like anxious like when you first stopped? Did you like notice a change in your like chemical makeup?
Yes, definitely. Wound up is how I would describe it. Also fucking sweating through my clothes, just getting mad and fucking like and irritated, and like go inside and like, I fucking went through another t-shirt. Just like, and I'm waking up in like a puddle of sweat from some crazy ass dream. Not tight. It's definitely gotten a lot better over the last I'd say week, maybe 2, but that first 2 weeks was rough.
Yeah. So not only did you stop smoking, but I've noticed that you're a pretty active person. Like not like in the traditional way. It's not like you like go to the gym every day, but you're like out there walking dogs a lot.
Yes.
And then also you skateboard too, and I've noticed you've been leaning back into that
again regularly. And I'm re-entering the world of internet tomfoolery. I started podcasting again. Just trying to get back to being myself. I feel like now, like I was looking for something in my life, I think, before the dog rescue. And then the dog rescue, I found it and I jumped in head first, and I was just going too fucking hard, putting myself in a position where I'm going to burn all the way out really fast. So it took me a while to figure out like how to do this job in a way that is not killing myself in the process, and like how to, know when to hold them and know when to fold them, know when you can help and know when you can't, and not, you learn this shit along the way. So
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten better at that. And then my dad passing away had a big effect on me, made me not want to perform anymore, not want to be out in the world anymore. Like I didn't realize how much of what I did was like some kind of way to make him proud or happy or whatever.
Yeah.
And he used to get a kick out of all the shit. So I started doing stand-up again. I went out last week and did a set for the first time in like 5 years. And that was something that he loved and I didn't do, because so many of my jokes were about my dad and I just wasn't ready to tell those jokes anymore or again or whatever. And now I kind of feel like I'm getting back to normal. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get over that kind of shit. You just learn to like apply it to your everyday life. So now I feel like I can write new jokes and approach it from a new perspective. And a lot of the bitterness that I had with regards to like where I was with my career, big old air quotes, is gone now. Like both because I feel like I became validated in the sense that like we started making this project where we removed ourselves entirely from the music, and then to see that have success, like really, to me, it made me feel like, okay, like I was always on the fucking money, and then I was kind of standing in my own way, maybe, and like now that I could like have, a career as a musician that doesn't require me like show face in that way, I have a lot more fun doing it. And now that I'm like feeling like myself again, I feel like I can do the podcasting stuff, and like Caustic's been coming over, and it's like in a lot of ways it's like the good old days, but then in a lot of ways it's way different. He don't drink anymore, I don't smoke anymore. We're all grows up, but a lot of that, like, I feel like I definitely felt like people like around me were being selfish, in the sense that they would not have done the same things for me that I did for them, as far as like providing a platform and shit like that. And that's not accurate or healthy, because the reality is like, well, if the opposite of being selfish is being selfless, then I shouldn't be asking for shit in return. You know what I mean? So like, you're either going to do something for somebody because you want to, or you're doing it for a specific reason, and that's not being selfless. You know what I mean? And I think that doing this job where I've actually, figured out a way to be like of service to my community has taught me about what it really means to like do something for somebody else for no other reason than wanting to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's big, man. That's really big. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head of like, if you're being of service for a reason to get something back, that's probably not the most like authentic reason to be of service to others. You're just finding another roundabout way to be of service to yourself, and it's like
100%.
Still self-orientated behavior. That's big, man. I'm like really proud that you've come to this conclusion, and also just, I don't know, like I have like a big feeling, like, because not only like you're my friend and I love you, but like when I see you not only like doing the dog rescue, but also now you're like being a big part of the homeless outreach in your community, and like that also, like,
learned
I
it from
feel like
watching you.
Yeah, but it's you're doing it though, like, and it's so cool to see you not only like save animals, like those lives, but then also be kind to your fellow human that doesn't have the same opportunities, that's at a disposition as well. So you're meeting today, right, for something regarding that as well, correct?
Yeah, multiple meetings today, actually. I got one with the shelter. Come in here, Churro. You want a treat? Come on, come get a treat. I gotta shut the door because the goddamn restaurant behind me starts playing the worst music in the world right around this time. I hear Pharrell, because I'm happy. I'm like, I'm not happy to hear that shit. But look, we could sit down right here at the set of Counterproductive.
Oh my
Um,
God, hell yeah. Let's go.
it's nice. It's nice. I got a meeting today at the tiny houses to figure out how we could set up a program for people who are going into treatment, and either have their dogs boarded or put with a temporary foster, because a lot of people like will refuse treatment because they don't want to be away from their dogs. And you know, these treatment facilities are essentially hospitals, so they don't allow dogs. So we got to find a way. And it's hard because people, you know, if someone has a problem with drugs, a lot of times people don't give them a chance. And your average foster isn't going to be too stoked on giving a dog back to someone after they've taken care of it. You know what I mean? So we really got to find people within the sober living community who have that experience, that know that people can change, and give people a shot rather than just finding new homes for these dogs. Because, you know, essentially it's not that easy, you know, and we need to be getting dogs out of the shelter. We don't need to be finding homes for people who love their dogs, you know. Like, those people need to get the treatment that they need, and then ideally they get their dogs back, and then they get the, you know, treat their dogs the way that they never could when they had a problem, you know what I mean? Or when they were, you know, dealing with their problem. So it's a bridge to cross. It ain't going to be easy, but trying to figure out a way we can do that, and working with the people that work closely with the humans. I work with the dogs. You know, inadvertently you end up working with the people, but I'm the dog side of the equation. So I'm trying to help the people that are on the people side of the equation solve that problem.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. That's amazing. I've seen a couple questions in the chat. Somebody asked that. Basically, they're saying, how could I stop smoking weed? So I think you might be of assistance to like offering some advice.
Definitely.
There.
I think that one of the key things is to keep yourself busy, right? I think that the hardest times for me, when I really want to smoke, is when I'm just sitting here, you know? And it's, unfortunately, sometimes I got to just sit on a dog. Sometimes I got to just kick it with a dog. And that used to be when I would just be fucking smoking, dog's chilling and I'm chilling and it's all cool. But like, you know, finding some other thing to do to keep yourself occupied is certainly the most healthy way to deal with that, like, empty time that you used to spend just puffing away. And I think also looking at the financial aspect of it, thinking about how much money you're spending on weed. Let me show you something. So, quit smoking weed, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I ain't spending this money, boy. So check it out. I've been just buying shit. Arcade sticks. Fucking love these things. Picked this up yesterday. What, son? Oh,
wow.
Marvel Superheroes cabinet.
Whoa,
so
that's
turn
crazy.
That bitch into a Nintendo Switch cabinet, and then I'm also building like a separate like emulator cabinet. Get another hobby, dude. Get a hobby that doesn't involve fucking twisting one up. And chances are you'll have a lot more success as far as the quitting is concerned.
Sunday Venom asks, any suggestions on affordable
What's up,
pet
Sunday
care?
Venom, my boy?
Yeah, he's at. Any suggestions on affordable pet care?
Man, that is a fucking problem right now. Much like everything else in the world, things are just more expensive right now. You go to the grocery store and walk out with 2 bags and you spend $100. It's like, how is this even possible? Like, everything has become more expensive, and definitely pet care is a part of that. I would certainly recommend to anybody that has an opportunity to, because I know it's harder if you have a pet that already has like a existing condition, but get fucking pet insurance, dude. You end up paying like $30, $60 a month, depending on your dog or whatever. Like, it's worth its weight in gold when your dog gets sick and it's $1,500 or, you know, $5,000 for a surgery. Like, make sure whatever pet insurance you're getting has like a reasonable copay and stuff like that. A lot of car insurance companies have partner with pet insurance. So like if you have like Progressive, they might have a bundle with a pet insurance company or AAA or whatever. But I would say pet insurance is a real good way. Care credit, definitely apply for care credit so that you have money when you need it, and then you can pay it back in increments. Because typically what happens is like you don't have to go to the vet for a while, and then one day you got to go to the vet. And bam, it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? Unless you've got a dog that has like a lot of health issues, and to avoid that, stop buying these purebred dogs because they always come with problems. You're way better off getting a mutt from the shelter, not only because you're probably not going to pay anything for that dog, if like $100, $50. A lot of like pools are trying to clear the shelter, so they're not trying to charge you up front for a dog. But definitely don't be spending $3,000, $5,000 on a dog if you're not going to be able to spend $1,500 on a vet bill later. Like, that's just dumb. It's like, don't do that. So like a lot of what I'm saying is like in advance, right? Like in advance, if you're going to get a pet, don't buy one from a breeder and get pet insurance when they're a puppy because it's cheaper and whatever. Like these answers don't help if you have a 8-year-old dog that has pre-existing health conditions that you're not going to be able to get pet insurance for, and it already has problems where it needs to go to the vet all the time. Like realistically, like there aren't a lot of solutions where that's concerned, and that's something else we're trying to work towards, is like putting together some kind of fund, because we used to offer assistance for emergency medical. You run out of money too, and then at the end of the year, like I'm using care credit. Not a good strategy. We limit our financial assistance to spay, neuter, vaccine services because those are one and done things that every dog needs. So like people can't afford to get their dog fixed because it costs $1,000. Like we'll get your dog fixed, but like I can't just broadly take people's dogs to the vet for what, a cough or the boogery eyes or a limp or whatever, because that shit could be $50 and it could be $500 and it could be $5,000. And you don't really know until you get to the vet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you think the solution to like affordable, like everybody should get pet insurance? Do you think maybe there's like a new way that we could like revolutionize like taking care of dogs somehow? Like I don't know. I know
I feel like the dog. It's in the interest of the shelter. That these dogs get the medical care they need, because the ones that don't end up in the shelter, and then it's like their problem or my problem or some other rescue's problem, which means it's in the interest of the city. So realistically, like we need government programs, state funded programs that have money to help people when they need to cover these vets for their services. And like maybe vets need to chill on how much they're charging, you know what I mean? Or like, I just think there needs to be more programs in place to help people afford to keep their animals. Because last thing we need, you got a bunch of idiots and assholes rehoming dogs every single day. My dog, it deserves more. You know what? Give it more then. Don't make it somebody else's problem. So the fact that people who actually love their animals have to relinquish them because they can't afford medical care is terrible. And what we need to do is make sure that the people who love their dogs get to keep their dogs. And that's just one little piece of the problem. So I definitely think there's a broader issue there. But I would say on a personal level, yeah, if you can get pet insurance, get pet insurance. If you can get care credit, get care credit. Make sure you have something on hand to take care of your animal when you have to. And shop around. Don't just go to I'll tell you what, emergency vets, if your dog is dying, go to the emergency vet. If your dog is not dying, do not go to the emergency vet. Go to a regular vet. Emergency vets charge 2, sometimes 3 times as much as a regular vet for the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, if your dog has to go to the vet immediately or it's going to die on Saturday night, you ain't got a choice. You got to go to the emergency vet. But if it's like, if it's going to be okay until Monday, make a vet appointment Monday morning, because it's really, you're talking about a difference of thousands of dollars sometimes.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I know I've spent so much money at the vet because there's times where it's like your dog needs surgery and you just have to do it. And it's like, you got to pay it right there. And like, luckily I was in a financially good position at that time, but like, what if you don't have thousands of dollars just to drop right then. It's like, you have no option. You have no option.
How about
most
people don't?
Yeah.
Like realistically, most people in California can't afford a surprise $500 bill. And that used to be around what it would cost to go to the vet. But now it seems like it's almost 3 times as much, for everything. So, again, I think it's a broader problem that requires more than the individual make a change. I think that we need to change these systems that are in place, and there needs to be more vets that are willing to offer services to people, like low-income people that are living in the houseless community. Like I said, we can't afford to be removing pets from people that love their pets simply because they can't afford to cover the medical. Like, that's something that that's a bridge we need to cross real bad, because that's only like one of the 4 or 5 huge problems that are causing this, overpopulation crisis that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, totally. And then not only that, it's like, then that bleeds into people too. It's like, a lot of people can't even afford to like pay rent, so it's
or their own medical bills.
Yeah, totally. It's insane. Chat, if you guys have any questions for Dan, I see a lot of people in there, familiar faces. Pixie, what up? Rick.
It's crazy how much I feel like especially with Ruin an Hour, there's a lot of like the Dirtbag Dan show regulars, the notification gang, as I call them, that I see in the chat here at Ruin an Hour. And I love that, because I feel like this is like one of the most positive things that exist in the world of battle rap, as far as like content.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great place. I love the community that's built over here and at Counterproductive. I'm really glad personally that you're doing podcasts again, because I was a fan of even like the Friday streams that you did where you guys just talked about like nerdy stuff. I loved that. I absolutely loved it. So I'm a gigantic fan of Dirtbag Dan. Whenever he is like, okay, I'm gonna take a break, I'm like, no, no, I want to watch you.
I feel terrible. I mean, like, there was, when I quit doing the podcast, I got some of the saddest messages I ever got in my life from people. Like, this podcast got me through hard times. Like, you can't stop doing this. And it's like, dude, I can't keep doing it, At that time, it was like I couldn't afford to keep doing it. I was paying for a studio in San Francisco, and I'm driving back and forth to San Francisco all the time. Like, just wasn't sustainable, And and it became sustainable. Now I'm back to a point where I can do this. I could have this in my garage. And there was 4 years of doing dog rescue there where I was like, no, I need to fill this space with as many dogs as humanly possible. I was like, that's not healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and not even like really as healthy. I mean, it's certainly healthier for the dogs than being on the street or being in the shelter, but like, we want to mimic a home environment for them so that when they go into a home, they're accustomed and ready. You know what I mean? So like, it's better for me to not be working with so many dogs at once. And we've added more people to the team. So like, things have allowed me to do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Chewy says, Dan's looking healthy and happy. I'm not only happy for him, but proud because he does so much good with his time now. Counterproductive was hilarious. I'm glad Dan's back.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I weigh like 155 pounds now. It's crazy. Last time I was trying to skateboard, I was probably like closer to like 170, 180. And like, I felt it. I remember it being like real heavy on a board, like feeling like, ugh. And I want to say like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I was skated to the liquor store for the first time in a while, because I'd just be driving there most of the time, or walking the dog. And I skated, and I was like, whoo, boy, I bet I could pop something right now. You know what I mean? Like, and certainly do feel like a lot. I don't think I've weighed this little since high school. I don't think I've been in this good a shape probably ever in my life. So that's cool, because it's only going downhill from here. So, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna get physically stronger at 40 years old, or faster or whatever. So like I'm taking advantage of the however many years I have left of being able to be, you know, feel good on a skateboard and stuff like that.
Hell yeah, man. It's awesome. I'd love to see it. I bet Dan be gliding on that board now. When Dan quit, it was different, no lie. Yeah, I think the people are just really happy to see you back, man, like doing the podcast. Cool. I mean, obviously I knew that you were like hella busy doing the greater good in the world, but it's also great that you're back entertaining us all.
Well, I think that one of the main reasons I'm back is because like I realized that I'd be doing a huge disservice to these dogs by not using my platform to raise awareness, you know what I mean? And then like doing the Carter battle really brought that to the forefront for me. It was a great opportunity for me to spread awareness, you know, in a way that I simply can't do by just being out here on the street helping dogs. Like I was able to tell thousands of people at once, you know, that like dogs deserve better. And that's, I think, for that reason, it made me realize that like, yeah, I could definitely be using this platform and my connection to my friends in entertainment, who also have platforms, to spread the word. And a lot of what I do is education. A lot of what I do is teaching people things that I didn't know until I started doing this. You know what I mean? So it's important.
Yeah, it definitely is. Pokemon Sleep Deals asked, what's your best skateboard trick?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I went to the park yesterday, skating a little mini ramp, half cab blunt, backside 5-0, backside tail revert. Still got that shit in the bag, baby. It's crazy how much, like, I'm having trouble doing kick flips. For some reason, I can huck a tray flip, no problem. But like certain flip tricks are really hard. Like they don't come back in the way that, and they may never come back. But for some reason, lip tricks on a half pipe, and I guess it's because I had a half pipe in my backyard when I was a kid, and that was like what I skated most. So like a lot of that shit is just ingrained in me. I will always be a mini ramp skater. That's my bag. That's where I live. You know, as far as like the skate park is concerned. I love going and just doing slappy grinds on curbs because I'm officially an old man now. But the skate park, you find me in the mini ramp, and I'm putting in work in there. I still do like kickflip backside 5-0 stalls and stuff like that. You know, just a lot of lip tricky stuff. That's where I excel at.
Hell yeah, man! That's really amazing. That's super awesome. You got to film a part, dude. You got to film a part.
But I want to do a 40 for 40 like Vinny did.
Yeah,
I got
that would
40
be amazing.
tricks, dude. I got 40 tricks for sure. Probably by the end of the year, I'll have 40 tricks put together to, you know, but it'll just be me filming the shit. I'm not wasting anybody who actually films skateboarding time. Having filmed me do shit. Have you seen what people do on skateboards nowadays? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like,
the Baker video just came out, and then like Jamie Foy's part is
it's insane. I was watching
so
it with
crazy.
the band in the USA shit.
Yeah,
homie.
Yeah, I audibly was like, oh shit, like watching my phone. I was like, dude, this is insane. I never thought any of that would be possible.
Yeah, a lot of that, dude. A lot of that. A lot of just really being taken back by what people are capable of in this day and age. And like I remember, I worked at the skateboard shop like late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a time when I was like 16 years old or whatever, and I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll bet you money that there ain't a female on the planet that is as good as me on a skateboard. Like not one. Like maybe Cara Beth Burnside at that point, but like nah, like I'll smoke her in a ramp. Like realistically, just because she could huck little frontside airs, like I was doing straight legs and shit. But now, oh my god, I remember watching Alyssa Steamer's part in like the Toy Machine video and be like,
yeah,
tell me I could do all of that. but now, no, I'm seeing teenage girls
on my Twitter feed that are doing tricks that I will never be able to do. Not that I could do in the past, and not that I will do in the future. So that ship has sailed. 10-year-old Asian kids doing, little Japanese boys doing stuff that I will never be able to do.
Yeah.
It's definitely, skateboarding has gone crazy. And I guess that's what happens when you like make something an Olympic sport. You know what I mean? Like, there's some real value in that. When I started skateboarding, it was something that so few people did. I started skateboarding in like 1990, 91, and it was not cool. It was not like, this was pre-X Games, pre-Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Nobody thought skateboarding was cool at that point in time. And I watched it like get progressively more and more popular, and it really never took a nosedive. You know what I mean? Dude, Rob Dyrdek like owns MTV. Tell me that at the skate. Tell me at, I'm gonna go, Dyrdek? Really? Like him? Okay, I guess. Like, yeah, it's crazy the world that we live in. You know what I mean?
I know, it's so insane. And now skating is like cool to where like mad kids wear like Thrasher hoodies. They like don't even really know what Thrasher is. And like in the background of podcasts, there's like skateboard decks. Like No Jumper has skateboard decks in the background. I'm like, none of y'all skateboard.
Get out of here. None of you nerds skateboard. Even the nerd that runs that channel was a BMX dude.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Whatever culture you want to assimilate to get people to watch your stuff, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, Dan, I just want to like, you know, again, like congratulate you on the commendable journey that you're taking. I think what you're doing is really a bigger part of the important picture at play here. You're doing like great work for the world, not only for the dogs, but also for the people in your community. And I think you're like very inspirational to a lot of people in this culture that we're a part of.
I'll tell you what, I want to make people's lives better. Ooh, bless you. I want. Ooh, bless you. No sneezy? Sneezy. Oh, you know, I think for so long, I wanted, my goal in life was to just have an impact on the world. You know what I mean? I think anybody who gets into performing in any kind of variety or is chasing fame or whatever, notoriety, you want to leave your mark, right? And I think that the only way that you really leave a mark on the world is by making people's lives better. You know what I mean? Not your own life better, but, you know, doing what you can to make other people's lives better. I think that's where my head is at now. Like, I would much rather spend all my time trying to make a mark in that way than trying to like put myself over in any way. And it's like, oh God, it sounds so saying that stuff, but really nothing feels better. You know what I mean? Like,
no, nothing does.
I'm happier now, I think, and I have a much healthier, I look at the world in a much healthier way, and I think it's all because I focus more on doing for others than doing for myself. And I think you could say it all day, but until you like are actively doing that, it's really hard to feel that. You know what I mean? Like, and I've said this to you before, Avocado. Years ago, before I ever did the dog rescue, one day me and you were walking to 7-Eleven from your house, and there was a lady that just living outdoors, sitting in her like mobile wheelchair, and like we're just having a conversation, and then you just stop and you go over to the lady and you're like, hey, and you know her by name, and you're like, what do you want from the Sevo? You know what I mean? And then she gave you like a very specific ass order, and then you're like, okay, cool, yeah, I got you. And then you go and like didn't say anything to me about it, didn't give me a little like nod or whatever. It was just like something you just do in passing every day of your life. And that had an impact on me for sure. Like definitely did. And I always knew you were the coolest dude, but that definitely made me feel like, man, you know, maybe I could be doing more for the people in my community, and maybe the world would be a much better place if people operated in that way. So that's something that that's a little moment that was probably like meant nothing to you, that really kind of changed the way I look at things all together. So I definitely, like I said, when I say I learned it from watching you, like, I'm not joking.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that affirmation. That means a lot to me. Adoptmyblock.org. Go there to support the boy, the dogs, everything.
Yes.
Counterproductive. Dan's back doing podcasts. Weekly. What do you do? What are you thinking?
Yeah, you know what I'm not doing is putting a schedule together. Like, I'm not saying we're going to be live this day and we're going to do this day. It's like I'm just like, this stuff is here. It's all set up. So like, whenever I have time, I'll sit down, do a podcast by myself. When the homies are around, they'll come through. We'll do a podcast. Like, best way to know what's going on is to subscribe and click the little bell for notifications and join the notification gang, and then you'll know when we're live. And I'll tell you what, since I did this, I've done more podcasting in the last month than I did in the last 4 years. So
wow.
Just having it here and available has significantly increased, 500% increased the amount of times I've been live and doing this stuff. And the other thing is that, like, I am going to get out there sometime in the near future. I'm going to come and sit down with you in person. I want to come sit down with Lush in person. Anybody who's going to let me sit down and talk about these dogs, I will be there. Because I realize that is a necessary thing, and that has value and is worth my time.
Hell yeah, man. You know me, whatever way I can help you, I'm down, dude. If you guys want to do some sort of fundraiser up there, down here, I'm with it.
That too. I think later in the year, I think we will definitely do like a big kind of Dogs Are Dope situation where we have some battles and we have some comedy and we have some performances. Like, I really love to put something together that we could just stream live from Ruin Your Day, and instead of like being like pay for a pay-per-view, just like donate, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
take an opportunity. It would be cool to do like old school telethon style, you know what I mean? Like, try and hit a goal and have fools on the phone, you know, have fat ass Gus on the phone fucking taking phone calls.
Yeah,
my English bulldog is the best, bro. I took him to a wrestling show. I don't know if you see me doing that. And I'm like, somebody left this guy tied to a fence at the vet, and everyone goes, boo! And I was like, yo, this is the best. So yeah, yeah, I think we'll definitely do an event this year, and I'll definitely get out there to do some like professional podcasting with my real podcast buddies sooner than later.
Hell yeah, damn. Well, I can't wait for that, dude. Much love. Adoptmyblock.org. Any other way that they can follow y'all on the socials or anything else, Dan?
Adopt My Block on Instagram. You'll see the little dog paw in the house logo. I mean, that's where you'll see me every day doing stuff with dogs. If you want to see me running around with cute dogs, that's where to go. On Twitter, I'm not calling it X. I don't care what that nerd says. On Twitter, that's where I'm a human who has normal opinions. When on my anything that's connected to the rescue, like link to link, I'm not having political opinions. I'm not having music opinions. I'm not doing anything that's going to stand in the way of a dog getting adopted. But like, I'll go on Twitter and be like, this is lame. You suck. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I can be a human and interact with people kind of in the way that I used to, but I'm also like not super bitter, and I'm not trying to be a critic. So like, tends to be upbeat, but yeah, that's a place. Dirtbag Dan 408 still on Twitter. And then dogsaredope.co is where you can get some of this cool Dogs Are Dope gear, and 100% of the proceeds go towards pups in need. And we're saving up for a major surgery right now. I need to put together like $5,700 in the next couple of weeks. I feel like I'm probably close to halfway there. Usually we get a big general operating grant around February, March, and I can't wait for that to do this surgery. I got to raise the money and do the surgery sooner than later. So please pick up some gear, donate if you're inclined to. Adoptmyblock.org/donate. There's all sorts of methods of donating there: Venmo, PayPal, Stripe, whatever. anything helps. Anything helps. $1 helps, dude. Because if 1,000 people donate $1, we're, you know, that one step closer. And a lot of times it's like, you know, it takes a village, bro. We got, you know, when dogs get sick and they need something, like, oftentimes we'll boost a GoFundMe, and then when somebody gets close enough there, we'll just cover the rest of it. And it's the difference between a dog living or dying. You know what I mean? Like, imagine you're in that position. You're going to wish that people came forward and helped you out $5, $10 at a time. So please consider donating, pick up some gear. Everything helps, and anything helps.
Hell yeah. All right, Dirtbag Dan, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate Dan for coming by. As always, .myblog.org. Follow Dan on all the social medias, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.